Hey, everybody. We are live again.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Girl, get up and move. You are enough. Has
Mm-hmm.
launched today on Amazon. You can get the book for 99 cents. But as
Yep.
we move on, I'm bringing to you some amazing powerhouse women that have overcome their situations and circumstances because they understood that they were enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so today, this morning, I have with me the amazing, awesome Sharlrita Deloatch. And she is the publisher for this book, but not only is she the publisher, she has a story, okay, that y'all gotta hear. Y'all understand? Y'all gotta hear. But before we start that, I want to make sure that we introduce ourselves and say who we are. I am Renette Upson-Bush, the CEO and founder of the Next Level Nation and of Next Level Chicks, where my mantra is to push women on purpose for the purpose of walking in their purpose and their destiny. I help you to get in alignment for your God-given assignment so that you can do what He has called you to do. Because if you're not walking in your purpose, you're not living the life you are purposed
Mm-hmm.
for. Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I
Mm-hmm.
do that through speaking. I do that through coaching. I do that through facilitating workshops and master classes. And I just love to push people on purpose because I know that you have a next level and that you have a purpose. And so that is my thing. So again, I'm Renette Upson, and I want to introduce to you.
Hey y'all.
Some of you already know her, Sharlrita Deloatch.
Hey y'all. I'm Sharlrita Deloatch, and first of all, I know one of my things that I'm trying to get in the habit of just telling you about who I am. I am a Christian girl. I love Jesus. I love His people. And I love rap music. So you're gonna find me on TikTok dancing to the rap music. Married woman, is mother and all that good stuff. Those titles, but my whole purpose in this life that God has given me is to share my story, using my story to help other women to share their story in the form of writing and publishing books. I'm the CEO of BWE Publishing and Consultant, been in business since 2015, 2014. Super excited about this anthology project. I love anthology projects because it gives even me professionally an opportunity to get to know other women. You just never know. Everybody has a story. Like everybody has a story, but God gives us the opportunity to share it in many different facets. So, like Renette said, she does hers through speaking, through writing books. There's many different ways that you can do that. But I am an advocate that you need to write your story. Why? Because that's what brings generational wealth, but your story also it leaves legacy. So even after you leave this earth, your words will still be here. Like your book will still be here. I love to reference the great Cicely Tyson. When she left this earth, she left a book. So that was one of the last things that we've known for her is her leaving her book and sharing her story. So I think that's very important.
Yes. I'm trying to find you on IG for some reason. I'm not seeing you.
I know we're following each other.
Yeah,
Hold
we
on.
are. Y'all,
What page are you on?
I'm on
I
Renette.
see you.
Oh, you
I
do?
see. Okay, I'm getting ready to come on now.
Okay.
Okay, there I go.
Okay, let me see. Now I'm trying. Okay, so maybe I can get you. Okay, there you are. Let me see if I can request you.
All right.
There you are. I just sent you an invite. So now she can be
Okay.
on IG as well. Because we're
Yeah, so we getting up there on IG. There we go.
yes. So with that being said, we got a little feedback.
Okay, there
Okay.
we go.
Okay, there we go. So I want to talk about how so many women, this was important to me to write this book because there's so many women that feel like they're not enough. And because
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they're not enough, they sit up and they run behind everybody else and everybody else's dream, but not their own. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they just get stuck in the I'm not enough. You
Mm-hmm.
had a situation where you could have stopped and felt like you were not enough, but you knew that God called you to do more, be more, even though
Mm-hmm.
the odds were stacked against you. Can you tell
Mm-hmm.
me your story?
Yeah, so those that don't know me, back in I believe it was 2004, I was arrested and convicted in the state of North Carolina as a felon. So at that time, I was doing. Hold on, I want to make sure I don't want to get no feedback. But am I good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at that time, during that time of my life, just doing things to please other people. Sometimes we do things to make other people happy. That's what I was doing. I committed crimes to make other people happy, even though it was something that didn't want to do. It wasn't that my mother raised me this way, but that's what I was doing. So I got convicted of the felon. And even during that time, I remember the correction the officer told me in the master office. So, when you get arrested, if you never have, they take you to the magistrate office first. At least that's what they do here in North Carolina. You go to the magistrate office so you can get your one phone call so you can see if somebody's going to come bail you out. So I called my mother and my stepfather, and of course, my mama, she was teaching me a whole lesson. She was like, I'm going to make you sit there so you can sit in it. Because sometimes you got to sit in what you've done so you can think about it.
Yeah.
So she said, I'm going to let you sit there for a minute, because you need to feel what you've done and you need to learn a lesson from this. I'm glad she did now. At the time, no, I was mad. I was like, come get me now. But I sat in it, and I sat in it for a while, where I went into a holding cell. And in the holding cell, that's where they hold you at before they take you off to jail. They'll sit you in the holding cell for a little while unless somebody's coming to get you. So I'm in that moment. I had a coming to Jesus moment, like for real. Like I was like, listen,
Sure.
this is not for me. I can't do this. I'm scared. I'm scared. I was really, really scared. So my mama and my stepdad ended up coming to get me. But I remember the magistrate lady telling me that she was like, you ruined your life. You are never going to amount to anything. You can't get no good job. Nobody's going to hire you. You're not going to be able to do anything. I didn't have any kids at the time, but she was telling me all these things. So in my mind, I'm thinking, my family, I love my family. My family, we full of hustlers. Like, so some were legally, some were not. So I'm used to the hustle. I grew up in the hustle. So she knew some of my family members as well. So she already knew. She was like, oh, okay, you coming up in here, you related to him, you related to him. So I already know, what the deal is. You're going to be back and forth, coming back and forth here. So I made a decision. So that's one of the things I teach people, even when I tell my story. I made a decision like right there. I had my coming to Jesus moment. I said, you know what? This is not for me. I'm not going to be doing this. I don't know what it's going to look like going forward when I get out of here. I don't know what my future will look like, but I do know I'm more than enough. I know that I don't deserve this. I can't live this life of crime, because when I made that decision, I believe that when you make a decision, God then says, okay, she get it. She made a decision, because sometimes that's all you need for God to see you through the rest of what you're going through. So it wasn't easy at all, and I'm not going to portray that it was. I was not luckily. God opened the door for me to get a job where I stayed at that job for many years, where I was able to provide for my daughter at the time when I had my daughter. So I was able to live even with having a felon. But then it came a time where they had to pull my background again. Because we were switching different projects and I was working in a call center, and they had to pull my record again. They pulled my record. They had to fire me because I was a felon. When I got hired, they weren't checking nobody's background. So I was thankful for that time. So I had to close the door on that opportunity because I had made a decision, Renee, that I was just going to stay in that call center for the rest of my life. Like, okay, I got this felon. I'm just going to stay here. This is just what I'm going to do. It is what it is, what it is. So at least I have a job. That was my mentality. At least I have a job. But that door closed. And when that door closed, that's when the purpose got activated in me. I had to ask God. I said, okay, God, really? When I made a decision first, but I didn't ask him the first time, what did you put me on this earth for? What did you call me to do? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Because obvious this ain't working. So what do you want me to do? And one thing I remember God saying to me was, open your mouth. I was like, open my mouth. Like, what does that mean? Like, how do you open your mouth? Like, how do you do that? So like literally open my mouth. I mean, I could do that right now, God. No, open your mouth. So scrolling. This is when Facebook was, I think it was in this, it was starting to get into this peak with Facebook, because Facebook was just for like college students at first, but then they move it over where you can connect with family and friends. So I was scrolling on Facebook looking, and then I found Miss Cheryl Wood. That's how I know
Yes.
Cheryl Wood. So I found her on Facebook, and she was talking about speaking. And she was talking about how you can, make money speaking. And, she was traveling the world, which she still does to this day. She's doing amazing things. So if she was like two or three, she was steps ahead of me. So she was 10 steps ahead of me. I said, you know what? I want to learn how to do that. And I remember telling one of my girlfriends, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this speaking thing full time. I believe, and she was like, affirming me, yeah, you got it in you. You can do it. You can do it. So that's where my entrepreneur journey started, because I said, listen, if nobody's going to hire me, I'm going to have to create for myself. I have it in me already. It's in my bloodline. I told y'all, we hustlers. We got some legal businesses over here. My mama owns a amazing business. My aunties, and I had, some legal cousins doing legal things, but I still had that work ethic even from my grandmother. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So with the support of my husband, I invested in myself to learn the business of speaking, because you do know when you get into speaking, it's not just going out to speak. There is a business part of it that I had no idea about. So I had to learn that from someone else, and it been on and popping since then. So once I learned to speak, I got into writing books. And then, when it comes to writing books, folks are like, hey, how you write a book? I want to learn. I want to write my book. I want to do that. So I invested in myself yet again, into my coach that I currently have now, my publishing coach. She taught me how to start my own publishing company. And so from there, I always, even as a child, had a love for books. But you know how things, life comes up, you're like, you know what? I always love reading books. So that was one of my love for books. And so I was the child that was shut off in the room, and I read all the Goosebump books. I got into reading all the fiction books, especially with Carl Weber. Y'all know Carl Weber. He be talking about, he be doing a lot of gossiping in his books. So I started reading those books. So I always been into books and got into publishing and learning the business of publishing. And I've been going ever since. So that's my story. PG-13 version, but
Well, that is just so amazing, because first of all, you overcame those odds. When the lady in there and you went to the magistrate's office, she spoke all that negativity. You ruined your life. You ain't about to be able to get no job. You ain't about to be able to do this and that or whatever. But you had already started hearing from God, and you chose to listen to what God said instead of what she said. And so many times we start listening to the things and people around us, and listening to that small voice and that inner critic that's telling us we can't do it. You didn't do that because you understood that you were enough. You also came from a family that was doing something that had, like you say, you had both sides of the coins going, both sides of the coin. So you had to make a decision. That was very huge right there. Some people don't want to make the decision. They want to sit and stay stuck and still. Okay. And that does not work. You got to make a decision. If you're going to be enough, which you already are, God already made you enough. It's not even a question. It's up to you to decide that I'm going to move in the enoughness. And that's exactly what you did. So when you went to the call center and the job ended, even though you thought you were going to be sitting there for the rest of your life, stuck and stagnant and complacent, God moved you away from that. And sometimes God has to make us uncomfortable.
Yes, he do.
And we think that's okay. Comfortable is not okay. Complacency is not okay. And so we got to get comfortable in being uncomfortable. We have to welcome the discomforts in our life. Because when you do that, that opens up doors. So how many people are sitting in the not enough because they want to just be comfortable?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're not, and you sitting in that not enough. And I say this all the time. It's even the life that we live, to be honest, it's not just about us. Like, it's not, my story was never about me. Even when I first started sharing my story, I had people to say, how can you do that? How did you share your story so boldly? First of all, I live by this life principle, and me and my husband do this as well. Even when things go on in our marriage and we have rough patches, we never consult with anybody during our rough patches but God and each other. Now, what I do is, since I know that my story matters and I know that people, it's not just about me, once I get over it, once I get on that other side, then I start sharing my story. So I always tell people, listen, baby, anything you know about Sharlrita Deloatch and you read about it in a book is because I wanted to tell you, because I decided to put it out there, because I realized I'd rather be embarrassed for a little while than to make sure that Sally and Sue and John and them get out of their wilderness, because it's not about me. So when we get out of that notion we sit in, or that we feel like, oh woe is me, once you get out of that and you realize that you not being enough, and you sitting there talking about you not enough, it hinders other people. Like, for real, it hinders other people. It hinders people from getting to their destiny and where they're supposed to be. So get out of it's about you, because it's not.
Show not.
It's
Show not.
not.
And you know what, you really said something right there, because a lot of people, when you said, you get through your rough patches and what you got going on, but you tell your story. You don't keep it to yourself. See, because when we don't tell our stories, other people gonna try to tell it. Girl, she was a convicted girl. I will be moved up. People always got something to say. They ain't ready to spill that stuff that's in the closet, but they ready
Right.
to spill yours. So
Right.
you shut some people down, because those people that might have wanted to say something to keep
Mhm.
you stuck in feeling like, oh my God, I gotta keep this a secret. So that way you wouldn't be able to walk in your enough. You shut
Mhm.
all that down because you told your own story. So as
Exactly.
Rita said, as she's doing her books and publishing and stuff, tell your own story. Don't let nobody tell the story for you. Can't nobody
Exactly.
tell the story like you could tell it, because it's your story.
It's mine. Exactly. Exactly. That's what you may get pushback. My first book that I wrote in was a book collaboration for single mothers. And so I told my story on being a single mother at the time. I got a lot of pushback from that. I got a lot of pushback because people felt like I deframed someone's character, whatever. I didn't use any names. I didn't do that. It was really about me sharing my story. And I said those exact words to the individuals. I said, listen, this is my story. If you want to tell your story, then you tell your story. But I'm not going to sit here and not open my mouth and not tell my story, because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to understand that just because you're a single mother, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of having a marriage. Doesn't mean that a man wouldn't want you. That's the basis of my story. Because when my husband found me out, I was a single mother. And it didn't mean that I couldn't get married or I wasn't worthy of having a marriage. So I talked about that. And again, I got a lot of pushback. But I want you to remember, those of you that feel like you're going to get pushback, because I get that a lot for people. Well, how do you know? What if people don't like it? Of course, you don't want to tell your story in a way that is going to defame someone's character or make someone look bad. There's ways to write in there. That's why you got to have writing coaches and stuff like that to help you with that. But there, you can tell your story in such a way that will help someone else without you deframing someone else. So you don't have to share the way you think you have to share in order to, help someone else. You don't have to deframe other people, but you gotta get it out. Like, I think about the Bible. If we didn't have the Bible, if those of you that are Christian, if we didn't have that as a roadmap, that's basically stories. It's stories about other people, about real people and things that went on during the Bible days. If we didn't have that, some of these things we wouldn't be able to survive, because we need a roadmap. You're somebody's roadmap. Like you literally are. That's why God put us on this earth. He didn't put us here to stay stagnant and to be comfortable all the time and to shut our mouths about what we've been through. That's not what he done. He put us on this earth to walk in our purpose, and a part of our purpose, I don't care who it is, where you are right now, a part of that purpose is you sharing your story. And it even if it's not a book, you could be going on a job, and maybe you have someone that you're working with and they need to hear your story. That's going to help them to get to their next step. So you just never know. You have to be open.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like she said, you're the roadmap, the GPS, the message. Okay, you the message, you the story, you the example. And when we sit back and we stuck feeling like we're enough, we holding people up from where it is they're trying to go. And so this very, very important. And it's, I call myself turning my phone off. It's very important that we step up and we tell our story, because when we don't, we're holding others back, and we're not doing the work that God has called us to do. It happened to us, like she said, but it happened for us to share it out, to help other people to move forward. And I want to tell you, and I know that since I've been doing anthologies, and this is my second one that I've compiled, I had 3 people during the time that had amazing stories. It was their truth. But because their family or their friends or somebody felt, you don't need to be talking about that, and you have to share your story. Because when you share your story and you have been pushed to do this, God wants you to, he told you to do it. So you can't let somebody else's scarcity or somebody else's negativity stop you from what God has called you to do. You not walking in your enoughness or the space and place where God has called you to walk when you allow people to hold you up and hold you back from what happened.
Right.
That's your truth.
Right.
Okay. And sometimes some people will feel some kind of way.
Yeah, of course.
Wear it. I am in that frame of mind. If the shoe fits, wear it.
Right.
They did it, and it's your truth, it's my truth, and it's what it is. And so we gotta stop. That's how people hold stuff over us. That's how people keep us back when we allow them to get us caught up, stuck up, and make us feel like we shouldn't be doing something, or to make us feel like, oh, you doing too much. Oh, you talking too much. God called you to do it, honey. I'm gonna tell you, you gotta
do it.
You gonna listen to his word or their word. Who is
right.
they? I always say that. Who is they?
Right.
They don't like what you doing because they scared of who you about to become.
Exactly. And they don't like it because they see something in you they wish they could have done.
Hello.
Anytime someone is what we call, or they may be quote unquote hating, it has something to do with what you just said. Either they are mad because they didn't do it, or they are mad because they see where you're about to come, what you're about to become. It's either one of the two things.
Definitely.
So you got to get up in yourself that doesn't matter, because it's gonna be people. It's probably people right now gonna have something to say about us going live. We don't care about them. Who we care about is those that are watching, or those that watch the replay, watching the replay, that this message resonates with them, that they get to see this and say, hey, I am enough. I can do that. I can go after that job. Oh man, she was a felon. I cannot. Like, it was so many women after I wrote my book about being a convicted felon, Renette, that came to me and said, I am a felon too. You really showed me there's hope. You showed me that there's an alternate route. And that does my heart good, because again, me sharing that, it was definitely out of my comfort zone.
Absolutely.
We grew up in that era that what stays in the house, what goes on the house stays in the house, so, and I think at that time, our parents and our grandparents, they meant well, but when I shared it, I was so scared because, number one, I didn't want to be judged by people. But I had to realize that it doesn't matter to be judged by them if God said to do it.
Absolutely. And that what happens in the house stays in the house, keeps people stuck.
It does.
Stuck, and it keeps them from moving forward. And I'm telling you, you just got to get up, you got to move, and don't allow yourself. We love to say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But many times the weapon formed against you is yourself, because you allowing yourself to sit still, stuck and stagnant, and not moving forward. You got to get your mind right. I was writing the other day, I was writing in my journal, my grief journal, because I've had a lot of death. And in these last 1.5, 2 years, I've had 13 people to die. Not one, not two, not three, but 13. And 2 of them, of course, being my grandson and my daddy.
Your dad.
And so many times, I'm telling you, I am still grieving, because my dad just died about 3 months ago.
Right.
I feel like getting up sometimes. Sometimes, even through the process, you know what we had to do to get on here today. I was like, God, we were praying, and God, because we kept going and didn't quit.
Kept going.
God said that we're enough, and so we gotta walk in that enough, no matter what you've been through. Everybody has something. Sometimes we feel like we the only one, and
no, we're not.
Friends. You're never the only one. Somebody always got something, but somebody used those odds to get up and change their life. And I need you to do the same thing. Understand that you're enough. If you have not clicked the link to get the book for 99 cents, 99 cents. Like as you said on the last segment, you can buy a coffee and it costs more than that.
Exactly.
Some French fries. Okay. You can't even the dollar store, not even $1 no more. It's $1.05. Okay. And so for 99 cents, you can get this book, which is also a workbook, a help book, self-help that stands on biblical scriptures and start working on you. A lot of people talk about what they can't afford. You can afford, and you can afford to click and buy some for your friends too.
Exactly.
So yes, I invite you. I implore you. I'm telling you, get the book.
Get the book.
Get the
and
book.
I had the pleasure of being a part of the process and reading the stories. Like it's just amazing, and how every story really gives you the encouragement to get up and move. And I'm not saying that because I'm the publisher, but I'm saying that for real. When I had the pleasure to sit down and read these stories with these authors, amazing women that really pour their heart out into this book, you need to go get it. Get it while it's 99 cents. It's less than $1. Go get it and get a couple for your family and friends. And listen, don't pass this opportunity, because I'm telling you, as a publisher and reading it, and as a reader, it's amazing. It is amazing, and they all give you roadmaps, and y'all know I love books that give you action steps. You have action steps in this book, so you're not just reading their stories, but you're going to get action steps, things that you can do right now to help you to get up and move, give you that confidence that you need. You do the work. Okay, do the work that it takes, because it's inside of that book. So I suggest y'all go to the website, girlgetupandmove.com.
Get up and move. And yes, it's amazing. It's well written. We had writing workshops, which we had done at the retreat, which was amazing too. Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much, Sharlrita.
You're welcome.
For your story. I know that you've been able to make a difference. I know that you worked really hard with the ladies, with me, getting this book together. We thank you so much, and thank you so much. Your story is like really just so amazing. That's why I just knew that I had to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
I thank you too, because I love the way that you changed the life, and you're there. And as an entrepreneur, you get to be there for your kids. So
right,
the situation that happened to her, it happened, but it happened to her, but it also happened for her. Now
it's prepared me, prepared me for this very moment.
And she and her husband can work together and do whatever. And like she said, for this very moment, what do you need to prepare for, so that you can go to your next level, and also know that you are enough.
Yes, you are.
get the book, and share this out. And we'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye, y'all. Okay.
Okay. Whew. Oops, I'm scared.